Hi, this is Billy. I want to show you how I find this way to make camping oven and stove using the metal sheet or sheet metal. This sheet metal I'm using is from the oil cans that I salvaged, or you can use 0.02 mm stainless steel sheet metal. We have two wind gates. They are circular, each with 3 holes, and I created a simple lock for the door. The lower door is for the stove, where you burn the woods. And the upper door is for the oven. I also put in 2 windows where I'm going to install the mica films to replace the high temperature glass, trying to make the stove lighter. And the design of the stove is to make the oven appear as the buffle for the stove. So all the heat will route through the back of the buffle to the top, where it will exit through the chimney on the top. For the chimney, we're using a coffee can as a chimney, and I put in a buffle inside the chimney as well. So the chimney body can be made using 0.1 millimeter stainless steel rolls, or if you have money, you can buy those titanium films as well. The stove is made of 6 pieces. You have the top piece where you put the chimney and you do the cooking there. Then you have the side piece on the left and on the right. And also the front piece where you put in the door and the back piece. You also have a bottom piece, which is the same size as the top piece. For simple stove, we don't need a leg. You can just put it on top of a couple of rocks or wood to raise it from the ground. But if you want to have a decent one, you can put in the leg as well. If you need to do the leg, you have to replicate the bottom piece again and turn it around and use the screws to connect it with the original bottom piece. But then you need to take out the center part to reduce the weight and let the heat transfer down to the oven that we will be created using the leg. Here are the legs. They are made using the same type of steel or metal sheet. This is the left side of the leg. You see the opening there for the oven door. This is the front side where there's a small hole will mount the temperature meter. To make the stove portable, instead of welding, we use this type of tracks or slits folded by the piece of metal. This one is the size 1 centimeter or 10 millimeter. So we got 4 sides. They are made the same way. Just fold your metal sheets in this way, leaving 1 millimeter. And when you fold it, use a metal ruler to slit in, and then use the hammer to bang it against it, so you will leave behind a track with a space of around 1 millimeter. So the joint can slide in easily. There are only 2 types of joints you need to learn to make this stove. Just now I showed you the first one. This is the second type. When you cut the metal sheet, leave behind 20 millimeter more at each side so we can bend this joint. First, fold the first 7.5 millimeter, this small edge here. Fold it 180 degrees and use the same method. Use a steel ruler to leave a crack of around 1 millimeter in between. Then bend the remaining part to a 90-degree angle, and the height of that remaining part is 12.5 millimeter. So this part will allow the other edge that I just showed you to slide in. So it's going to be a bit more than 1 centimeter. So we choose 1.25 centimeter. Once you build these 2 types of joints, you can use it to connect 2 metal sheets together. Just slide them in and they will be held securely. And once you have the other 4 pieces slide in the same way, your stove will be sturdy and strong. Let me install this front panel of the lid. This is where the oven will be placed. So this is the front panel. I have a door and a simple turning knob. I also made a window, and I'm using mica films instead of high temperature glass as the window. So I got this from the Chinese online shopping site called Taobao. These are the mica films I got. The size is 44 times 155 millimeter. This film are 0.1 millimeter thick, and like glasses, they can be installed and used in high temperature condition. And also like glasses, they get dark pretty easily, so you can wash them by just using a piece of cloth to remove the dirt after use. The joint I use is made of hanger steel rocks. So from the hanger you can take out these steel rocks and then bend it like this, and then also roll your metal sheets for the door into a cylinder shape, and insert the steel rod through it, and then you can create a very functional joint, swinging joint. This is one of the side wall of the oven. So I have a small hole drilled, 8mm hole, that fits nicely with this temperature meter. Temperature meter can measure up to 1000 degrees Fahrenheit and up to 550 degrees Celsius. Before I install the other pieces of the legs, let me put in this oven tray. It's also made of metal sheets. So let me insert the other walls of the legs. The back door first. There's a hole on the plate, but never mind. And then just point it towards the leg so it won't impact the oven. Then you have the side with the temperature meter. Just slide that in, and it will hold the whole stove in place firmly. So there you get it, the whole stove. The top wind gates control the oven, the bottom wind gates control the stove, and you have 3 windows. So when you make this joint, I cut the end of the joint in a 60-degree angle. This is because I have to slide the 2 pieces together. If it's not cut like that, there won't be any space or any crack for me to squeeze it in. This stove is transformable to another 2 types of setup. So first let me show you, this is the baffle or the body of the oven. So it can be broken out into 2 pieces. If you don't need to have the oven, you can just take out 1 piece and create a baffle using that 1 piece. So put that on the top, and then put on your top plates. This is a stove only setup, only with the baffle but no oven. The baffle and the oven is supported by these 2 pieces of metal here. To install the baffle, so we will use the hinge over there and just slide in this U-shaped edge into the hinge to lock it in place. See, this is now locked in place. One part of the baffle is inside the slit in the hinge of the top piece. So the air will flow like that. The hot air will come through the chimney, through the space created by the baffle. So this way all the heat will be kept for a longer period of time to heat up your food. So let me install it for you. So we have to slide the top piece in from the back of the stove. Just put the hinge in place and with one hand pushing forward, another hand going through the hole of the chimney to lock the U-shaped metal of the baffle into the crack into the hinge of the top piece like this. So it's now locked in place, secured. Next is to push the top piece through the tracks. Okay, there you got it. The baffle installed, and this is a stove only setup. You have 2 windows still, and you can install the front door now with the same 2 wing gates, one at the bottom, one at the top. But for both are now being used to control the stove's airflow because there's no oven. Setup number 3 is a stove without baffle. If you want to go lighter, you can also do away with the baffle. Just turn the top piece around so the chimney is at the back of the stove instead of in the front, because if the chimney is in the front, all the hot air will escape directly through the chimney and there will be no heat on the stove. So turn it around, insert like this way, so all the heat will stay in the stove much longer to heat up your food and exit through the chimney. The weight of the entire setup with the stove and the double oven is measured at 1.8 kilogram. If you only take the top piece, that means stove only, is around 1 kilogram. Next, let's test out the stove and oven. I'll keep my mouth shut from now and let you enjoy the rest of the video. If you like my video, please click like, subscribe, share with your friends, and remember to click the bell so I'll be able to notify you of my new videos. Thanks a lot for watching. This is Billy. Bye now.